All right, hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. All right, and so as we get into this today, let me see something real quick. Oh, oh, that's a lot better. All right, hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. All right, and so as we get into this today, let me see something real quick. All right. Let me greet everybody real quick. Gordon Hardugu dog all the way to the bank. Bonjour mes amis. Kera bawani konnichiwa. Ni hao ni aman. Sani bonani. Jambo habari gani. Assalamu alaikum and shalom. All right, what's up, USMC vet? Hello, everybody in here. Uh, Forgot to put one other thing in the presentation for today. Okay. See if it's in this one. Yeah, here it is. All right. All right. So, this is something that I really want you brothers to be aware of. All right. This is something that brothers need really, I mean seriously, need to be aware of. This is the epitome of why. Let me just say this, and I'm gonna just get this out of the way, because it cannot be fixed. It cannot be fixed. What is the it that I'm talking about? I am talking about the so-called black community. All right. And I want y'all to understand that this so-called black community cannot be fixed. Wonder what's going on here. Let me see what this looks like here. All right. And we're going to get into why this so-called community cannot be fixed. All right. So first, let me greet everybody. Havorten Hardugu dog ola oite bem, vocês los bonjour mes amis. Quero bawani konnichiwa. Ni hao ni ama, sani bonani. Jambo habari gani. Assalamu alaikum and shalom. All right. Sorry, I was a few minutes late. That was calculated. There were some things I needed to pick up, and believe it or not, I'm sipping on some tea with a spoon. Well, I don't sip tea, I drink it. So, so, brethren, as we break this down, all right, hold on. All right, let's see if this helps things out a little bit. All right. All right, that seemed to have worked. Not. Okay, that might have worked. All right, so as we break things down, we are going to go deeply into this, and I'm gonna greet everybody real quick. See who's in here right now. Hey, what's up, Daniel Porter? Hey, Simplify, USMC Vet, Simplify, Texas Marine. What's up, Space Rice Crispy, Zimaloo? What's going down? Hey, David Bowman, what's up? What's up? All right. So, right off the bat, there's some things I want you to understand. We've often said, in not getting, get an understanding, right? So, right off the bat, right, there is some understanding that is necessary for us brethren. The reason why I am pointing out this understanding is for this fact that we really don't realize how destroyed the community is. And the other thing that a lot of so-called black men don't realize is that everyone in any kind of organization, if there's an organization preaching to us about anything, this includes those Israelite organizations. They are nothing but a club. All right. They're not preaching in the best interest of the community or the Afro man. And let me say why I say or the Afro man. The Afro man is the target because the systems of government always knew that if you can destroy the men, you destroyed anything, everything. The point is, there is a sweet spot that they're trying to reach. That sweet spot that they were going for is, how can I destroy most of the men and maintain what's already been built by those men I'm trying to destroy? When did they do this? When was the last time they did this? Just tried to get rid of all of the builders now that everything was built. Oh, yes. We've been the primary means of attack, the Afro man in the United States. All right. I don't know why, but y'all know how Google is with my stuff. So let's just take it here. All right, so as we take it here, let me wait a second for those that dropped off to come back on. Okay, brethren, let me say this. These videos are very important. If you want to know the truth, and if you are looking for information to guide yourself. All right, so let me say this. All right, and so basically, no matter how good my setup is, there always seems to be a problem. All right, so if I persevere enough to continue to keep to keep fixing this problem, and y'all really want to get the information, right? If the thing goes down and you get timed out, just click back on. In all of these videos, you can click back on. The main purpose for them to do this is, one, my channel is shadow banned. Two, they count on it that most of you will not share my video. Even though you know I'm telling the truth. They count on the fact that most men will not share the video. This is part of the problem. The other issue is the same dudes that will not share this video. If a video or a picture of a naked woman, half naked woman dancing or whatever come across, that will get a lot of shares. And that goes into the this massive problem that we have. All right. Everybody wants us to unite only with these women. And I'm telling you that that is not supposed to be so. And I told you I was going to get at something a while back. All right. And the thing I wanted to get at was a parable. Y'all know the parable in Matthew. Now, this particular parable is significant because I want to show you a couple of things. That this parable here addresses. All right. And it has everything to do with what we are talking about right now. Hold on. First, I'm gonna take you to somewhere. All right, and all that getting, what do they say? Get an understanding. All right, and all you're getting, get an understanding. And so I have some clips I want to play right after this, right? And let's see. Hey, what's up, Greg Mahone? All right. So, hey, y'all, if you get cut out, just, what do you call it? Refresh. Keep refreshing because I'm going to put this back up. No doubt about it. I'm putting it back up. So, if you get cut out, refresh. All right. So if it gets cut out, refresh. What's up, Antonio Johnson? All right. Got you, Greg Mahone. What's going down? All right. Now, the reason why you want to refresh this, because they don't like us, the Afro men, understanding the truth. They don't like us expressing options. Options was never a problem. It was never a thing when it came to relationship, so long as it was the Caucasian and the BW, the Caucasian and anybody. No one had a problem with it until people discovered that the Afro man was desired. The Afro man was desired by everyone. And when they find out that we are financially stable, it's over for the BW. Unless you're one. Now, let me say why it's over for the BW. The only people that's going to get with her are the people that's been thoroughly brainwashed and nothing can grow with them. Why? Because the BW will always be the ruler over that person. That's why that person never corrects them. All right, now I want to bring this one up. Then the reign of heaven shall be compared to 10 maidens. Now I want y'all to understand this. And I picked out the New Testament because while it's not good, some stories are not good for you to follow, but it's good for historical reference. All right. So when you look at the story of Thor, Odin's son, you understand that, okay, oh, this comes from a warrior culture. All right. When you look at Thor and look at what he's the god of and look at his antics, you're like, oh, so yeah, these are people that prize themselves as a warrior culture. Valhalla, where warriors go. Okay? So, in the same way, pay attention of this and tell me what kind of culture is this that the so-called Jesus, which didn't exist, but the storyteller would use this as an example to make a point. All right? Then the reign of the heavens shall be compared to 10 maidens who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. There were 5 of them were wise and 5 foolish. Those who were foolish, now understand this, those who were foolish, having taken their lamps, took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their containers with their lamps. Now, while the bridegroom took time, they all slumbered and slept. At midnight, a cry was heard. See, the bridegroom is coming. Go out to meet him. Here is the question, y'all. Who were they telling to go out and meet that one bridegroom? I'm gonna let that. I'll wait. I'll wait for an answer. Oh, and let me say this. If you want to call in, you could call in. All right? If you want to call in, if you have WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, you can call in. Nope. All right, let me read that again. Now, while the bridegroom took time, they slumbered and slept. At midnight, a cry was heard. See, the bridegroom is coming. Go out to meet him. Who is that person talking to? Who is that person talking to? See, the bridegroom is coming. Go out to meet him. Come on, somebody give me an answer real quick. Who is that person talking to? He's not talking to just the wise virgins. He's not talking to just the wise. He's talking to all 10 of them. Remember, there are 10 of them. There are 10 women to one bridegroom. Let me read the rest. All those maidens rose up and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said to the wise, give us of your oil, because our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, no, indeed. Wait a minute. There's another lesson in this. The wise answered, saying, no, indeed. There would not be enough for us and you. Instead, go to those who sell and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went with him to the wedding feast, and the door was shut. And later the other maidens came, saying, Master, Master, open up for us. But he answered and said, truly, I say to you, I do not know you. And then they said, the moral of this is, watch therefore, you do not know the hour or time of the sun. All right, let's skip that. There's a couple of things to pick out in this. All right, when you are looking at this thing with a historical mindset to understand culture. All right, now keep in mind that the Flavians wrote this to be close to a Hebrew narrative, is because the objective of the Gospels and the New Testament was to get the Hebrews, keep them from worshiping the Almighty, and switch them over to worshiping a religion. And it's going to be a religion that the Romans made that would make them gods, basically. So to do this, they would have to understand the custom of the Hebrews. All right. So what were the custom of the Hebrews? Well, one, how many bridegrooms were there for those maidens? I'll wait for an answer. How many bridegrooms were there for those maidens? All right, think about it. Look at this. How many bridegrooms for all 10 maidens? Anybody got an answer real quick? Yes, it was, the ratio is 1 to 10. 1 man for 10 women. Understand this. 1 man for 10 women. If this was a monogamous society, no spiritual leader would have made this an example for storytelling or to tell a wise story. Understand this. All right. Now, here's the other takeaway. The wise did not give away what they could not afford to give away. Remember when I ask y'all all the time, if you're going to donate to my channel, make sure you take care of your family and self first. This is why. I don't want y'all to run out of resources for yourself to try to help me to do something that's helping other people. Yes, but we should only help them to the point of whatever is in our means to help them. Meaning that if we can't help them, we shouldn't. We take care of ourselves and family first. We be a good steward over our stuff. Hopefully we can save up enough money, or come into some money, or come into some things whereby we can share because it's in abundance. there was 10 and he took 5. I want you to understand something else. When I said there were 10 and he only took 5, understand this, that the 5 he took were the wise one. Yep. All right. But he took 5. I want y'all to understand this. Virgins. That's what maiden means. All 10 of them were virgins. Understand this. Bridegrooms don't take non-virgins as wives unless they are widowed or the child is that the child that the woman is with is a bastard. All right. Now, let's understand the definition of bastard. If a woman is getting child support, that child is not a bastard. All right. That child has a father, and that father, by the fact that she's getting child support for that child and took him to the courts, when she took him to the courts, even though she thinks she ain't married to him, because the court requires paper, when she takes him to the court and forces money to come out of his pocket into her purse, she at that point marries that man. She is at that point the wife of that man. And both of them become controlled by the state. All the women that have had multiple children, I want you to understand this. All the women that had thrown the man away and had multiple children, after the first one that they got child support for, they are all guilty of adultery. This is why they do not teach the commandments. This is exactly why they do not teach the commandments. If they were to teach the commandments, I want y'all to understand something. If they were to teach the commandments, and if we had a culture based on that, these BWs would have turned around a long time ago, especially if all the brothers was on one accord and we were obeying the commandments ourselves. But because most of us have been raised by the single BAW mother, a lot of these dudes will go after another man's wife. And we all know what happens when that happens. The community is then effed up, and there is no help for it. Why is there no help for that type of a community? There's no help for it because that's adultery. You got a lot of dudes running around hollering about how they want to get somebody else's woman. Okay? The first place we went to. Kaye. Okay. So, all right, so let's break this down now. So basically, hold on. All right, basically, what's happened is we've been conditioned to worship and do whatever the BW want and only what she wants. Even though what she wants is against our interest as men. There's another conditioning that happened here. The other conditioning that happened here hold on for a second. All right, hold on for a second. The other thing that's happened here is that we've been so suckered, it's ridiculous. All right, we've been so suckered, it's ridiculous. And let me break this down how this happened. We've allowed religious leaders who are crooked to think for us. All religious leaders that has a group is crooked. Let me say this again. And when I say group, a large group. One of the things that shouldn't make sense to you, and that's this. When they say, why is the road to destruction and narrow is the road to heaven? So why are all these people preaching the same thing to make the road as wide as possible? They're not looking for good people. They looking for who got money. All right? And we are aware of this. Now, in looking for these things, there's another thing you have to understand. And I'm going to let this dude right here break it down. But this is the other thing that you don't understand. This is the main reason why I say the so-called black community can't be helped. Pay attention to this.
There will never be sufficient evidence to overcome confirmation bias.
Can y'all hear that? Can you hear that? Can you hear that? All right. Let me know that you can hear what he said. All right. And let me point this thing out. Here's the other thing with this is the other thing with the camps. Everybody that's a religious organization cater primarily to women, the BW, especially the in the black thing organization, cater primarily to the black woman. They do. Why? Because that's how they draw the dudes in. Okay, now he said there is no way. Let him say it again.
There will never be sufficient evidence to overcome confirmation bias.
There will never be sufficient evidence to overcome confirmation bias. Oh, we're about to get really into this, all right?
There will never be sufficient evidence to overcome confirmation bias. What has happened to you is a thing called demoralization. It is a Marxist tactic. This is something that Russia was doing in the 70s, and it's something that's right now happening in America. Truth does not matter. When all of the media, all of social media, even all your politicians, because, happening in America. Truth does not matter. Happening in America. Truth does not matter. 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 When all of the media, all of social media, even all your politicians, because, they're bought and sold, when all of them are telling you one narrative, one truth, this becomes truth. As long as they keep saying it, as long as they hold to this narrative, just completely and blindly refusing to acknowledge any of the evidence, people will always refuse to see evidence as truth, because they have quite literally been brainwashed and brainwashed and brainwashed and brainwashed and brainwashed.
Y'all understand that? So, with the churches, the organizations, and all of that have done was they have systematically used the BAW to brainwash the weaker-minded men. Now, you got two groups. You got the brainwashed, weaker-minded men. That's one group. And then you got the predators, all right, who are females and males in the black community that is using the BW to get money for themselves, power for themselves, fame for themselves, and notoriety for themselves. Now, before we get to the next one, I want y'all to understand something else. Do you notice that any woman can start a channel and get more views from men, even if so a lot of women just came out and start talking about what we as men been talking about for years, right? And you got a lot of dudes sharing our talking points with us that some woman said, ooh, listen to what she's saying. We ain't even supposed to be listening to them. But our dudes have become so thirsty and stuff that we will pass around the content of women who's taking the thoughts of men before we go and listen to men and discuss these things and try to come up with some improvement. That's why we'll never get any improvements. Listen to this.
In history, every race has used violence to get their freedom. If you hit me, I'm going to defend myself. That is a natural thing, to defend yourself. That's a normal thing.
Now, let me say this. He says that's a normal thing. What have we been taught about the BW? That no matter what she does, you are never, and this is a new thing, you are never to put your hands on a BAW, even if she comes and threatens to take your life. That's what we were taught, and dudes are just they're getting tired now. I got some news we're gonna go through too.
But Martin was like, no, we should march. And Malcolm was like, I'm tired of singing We Shall Overcome and We singing and they spitting on us and punching us in the face. Every creature on this planet has a defense mechanism. Everybody does. Mice do. Plants do. Black people have been relegated to singing and marching. All the hell we catch, we don't defend ourselves. What if your cells, when a disease came in, started singing and marching? What if your cells were like, we shall look? Imagine. You would die, wouldn't you?
You would die. Yeah, you would die.
Your body molecularly and cellularly fights. What if your cells were like, don't be so violent, it's just the cold? Imagine. So on a cellular level, it's a natural thing to defend yourself. Martial artists, I studied martial arts for a long time. The first thing our teacher told us was like, you don't fight. If you don't have to, avoid it. But if it comes at you, you got to do what you got to do.
And he has the point right there. In martial arts, all right, that is the thing. You don't fight. You don't fight. You prepare yourself. You control your body in case you may have to, but you're not looking for a fight. If one comes, though, you're trying to end it as quick as possible. Basically, that's martial arts. You don't look for a fight. All right? Now, all of our stuff, in the name of whatever these Democrats want, all of our stuff has always been taken away from us in the name of some altruistic thing. The worst thing to happen to us as a people was integration. Because you know what happened with integration? All the stuff that we own got integrated into Caucasian banks to the point we own nothing and they own all of our stuff. And we still didn't get peace with them. And not only that, we have done worse as a people since. And even if people are making money, is the money that they're making is not really worth the damage that trying to make that hustle and bustle money for the Caucasian system. You've just become a slave again, where most of what you do is for the man, so to speak. Nothing is for yourself. Nothing is for your community. Nothing is for anything that has your image. They give you a lot of money. These females has a lot of money, but that's all they have. And then they took away a lot of other black families' money that they were getting in the name of critical race theory. All right, when I said these people are poison, all these leaders, right? All these leaders, let me show you something. All right, these people running around, mainly Karens and Mary Sues, they run around talking about we're fighting for somebody's rights. All right, but at the end of the day, you discover that the more they make you think they're fighting for your rights, the more stuff they are taking away from you and giving it to someone else. How many black people right now can't vote? I know me as an Afro brother, I don't vote, but I could. They always send me stuff to vote. All right. Oh, we see that you haven't registered and stuff, and people. So who isn't having the right to vote? There are very few women that support us. There are few women that support us. The rest of the women are trying to make money and get popular off of us. They don't give a damn about what the Afro man is going through. If they did, they would spend more time trying to unite with one than to be on TikTok, YouTube, or whatever that is, right? Telling men yeah, I feel your pain and I'm with you. And yeah, women are doing this thing and doing that thing. They ain't trying to do nothing but be Kevin Samuels light. Hey, Space Rice, that's about right. Hey, what's up, Daniel? All right. So here's the thing. And this is what makes them hypocrites. So these are the people, I'm going to show you what they took away. These are the people that says, no more excuses, voting rights now. But the only people that don't have voting rights that they're fighting for are the illegals. Which means that since they have, remember, because of the BW, there's only 12 million Afro people left here. All right, and let's not count the incarcerated. So 1 million incarcerated. So we got 11 million. All right, let's count the children. All right, you got 6 million voters. The BW decimated our community that bad. And because they are so much of a risk, no man is trying to marry them. We ain't trying to have any more children with them. So who do they want to get these voting rights for? Because it damn sure ain't the black people. We already have it. We all got IDs. If you can go to the corner and get some, they can get weed in places where it's legal. They could get alcohol. They could get cigarettes. All those require ID. You know what else require ID? Magic marker. Oh, I know about this. When I go buy the stuff to write the names of the people on the soccer balls, I got to be ID because apparently you be smelling that stuff. All right? And so it ain't us. They are going to dilute the vote. What's up, Captain Marvel? They're going to dilute the vote. All right. And Captain Marvel, the stuff I'm going to bring up, the news clip is coming from him. You know the one with the killer. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, Daniel. All right. I didn't actually see the interview. I just watched the dancing part. All right. So, do you want to know what they got taken away from people? All right. All these social justice warriors, understand what they did. All these families, understand this. All these families lost money every time these Democrat social justice warriors go after somebody for something that offends them. All these families ended up losing all their money. Pay attention to this.
I'd like to take a moment to congratulate the woke left. In your attempt to be politically correct, you've made America more white than ever. Let's take a look at your cancel culture and what all you whitewashed, shall we? Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben, Mrs. Butterworth, Frank White from Cream of Wheat, Miss Chiquita, the Frito Bandito, Land O'Lakes Butter, the Redskins, the Cleveland Indians, and who still remains now amidst our most notable icons?
W-H-I-T-E, that spells white.
fighting with me.
So congratulations. In your attempt to support minorities, you've erased all of them from the branding of America and made our store shelves and mascots whiter than ever. I understand your reasoning, but I don't think you quite thought through how this was going to end. Again, congratulations.
Now, understand the significance of all of that. All of those black images were black families, okay? Because they called themselves black. I don't even know if they called themselves black. So all of those Afro image, Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben, and all of them that they took off of the boxes, those families no longer get paid for the use of those images. In other words, the females, these Caucasian social justice warriors went and took money away from all these Afro people. We ain't done yet. This is why you don't trust the church. We got to look at what these churches spawn. These churches are in bed with the Democrats. And no matter what damage the Democrats have done to the population, the churches don't care because the churches are doing the same damage. It's brainwashing at its best. All right? The goal of the churches is to weaken the men while empowering the women to weaken the family. Why? If you have a weak man running a family, then that woman's pastor runs the family, not the husband. When you go to church as a family, you are ruled by the pastor. And who represents the pastor? The government. The government represents the pastor. All these camps, IUIC, the dudes in purple, they have a 501c3. All right, they're making some grip. They're making a lot of grip. All right, and their people are truly brainwashed. All right, their people go back to this. You can't have a discussion with them because of this.
There will never be sufficient evidence to overcome confirmation bias. What has happened to you is a thing called demoralization. It is a Marxist tactic. This is something that Russia was doing in the 70s, and it's something that's right now happening in America. Truth does not matter. When all of the media, all of social media, even all your politicians, because, you know, they're bought and sold, when all of them are telling you one narrative, one truth, this becomes truth.
And let me go further with this. Within these camps, understand this, that the people that go to these camps are looking for something, and once they get indoctrinated by these camps, they only listen to the leaders of these camps or other people in these camps. This is why they all have a monolithic thought pattern. You don't have men thinking as men, because men thinking as men would see things from a different angle a little bit, right? They would question some things. These dudes, without question, put out false information that everyone knows is false but them. But they have confirmation bias. You will never be able to give them the truth because they're brainwashed to only listen to one group. And that's that group. If you ain't wearing that purple and gold, they ain't trying to hear you. But they'll shout over you and tell you you're wrong no matter how much of a scholar you are. Because proof and reading scripture really doesn't matter.
As long as they keep saying it, as long as they hold to this narrative, just completely and blindly refusing to acknowledge any of the evidence, people will always refuse to see evidence as truth, because they have quite literally been brainwashed and brainwashed and brainwashed and brainwashed and brainwashed.
So this is the female that the Democrats and the church created. They created females that seek worship but have no respect for men, nor do they want good men. They want men that they can manipulate. Remember this.
In my experience, the worst people to deal with are the athletes. None of them use condoms, really. So if y'all really want to try to come up off a check off a man, I mean, you could just fuck an athlete. They're really dumb. I don't like talking about my history with men I'm dating, I guess until now, because most of the guys that I've dealt with are gonna have more money than you. And you're gonna feel a way about it. I know the male ego is fragile, like the ball sack that hangs in between your legs. In conclusion, like, I don't even look at people as like trashy or not. It all comes down to mentality for me.
Now, let me point this out. She then went on looking for a step-up sucker so she could get some more of that bag. Right? Now she's looking for another baby daddy. Now she's looking for some help. Because now she got that child done pissed off the father, who probably don't want to take that child for these 2 weeks or whatever, or his basketball schedule is too hectic. She now just can't be gallivanting around the way she used to. You know, looking for other sucker athletes. But she'll run across one because the Afro male has been brainwashed to the point where you have this situation, and we're not talking about only the minority, but it's the minority that these women willfully seek out. Remember, the majority of Afro men do not have children. Then you have about 30% that have children through marriage, their husbands. And then those who are unmarried and have children are up to date on their child support to the tune 67, 69 to 70%. Which means that the women and the children that aren't getting anything, these women are actively, well, let's listen to it from out of the horse's mouth.
Okay, let's get into this, because girl, I think you completely missed the point of the video. Anytime I bring up the word job, it was like a threat or like an insult to him. When I tell you the whole year would be ruined if I bring up the word job, resume, application, couldn't say those words to him. I got tired of being with a person that literally could watch me physically get up every single day and go put 50 hours a week into my job while he sits at home playing recreational basketball and playing Fortnite all day. You know what I'm saying? He was okay with that. Now, it wasn't even the aspect that I need a man to give me his money, because I do not. That's...
Wait a minute. So she just said she's an independent woman who don't need no man that have a job and money. Now complaining about a dude that's not helping her out by getting a job and making some money. Why would a woman choose such a weak man? think about this, y'all. Oh, Youngboy 24, no, not yet. Hey, what's up, Terminator T800? Why would a woman and she's not attractive, all that stuff she got on, but you can't tell her she ain't the stuff. All right, they got the black girl magic, they got all this stuff going on, and then they'll be the first ones to complain about their decisions as if it's the man's fault, and it's not. He didn't have a job when she got
Not
with
the
him.
point.
You
You're
don't
missing
need to
it.
get one.
The point is, I am a woman, and I am not going to sit here and let a man sit on his ass all day while I am out working. That's the point, baby. That's why I said he found a girl that is okay with him being jobless and broke by choice. Anytime I bring up, let's get a job, let's do this. Oh, Corona. You had no job before Corona. So let's stop.
He had no job before Corona.
I could never be the type of girl to just want handouts. But you shouldn't be in a relationship, period, if you don't have a job. Because in a relationship, there are holidays, there are birthdays.
Understand? Hold on. Understand the foolishness of which she just said. She told the dude that she picked, who didn't have a job before Corona, who used the Corona as an excuse of not getting another job. So she picked a jobless dude, right? And she's now saying that dude that's hitting and knocking them boots out should not get into a relationship with a woman unless he has a job. But that's the dude she picked to let run through her. Y'all understand that? She picked a dude with no job and then said that he shouldn't have got into a relationship with her because he didn't have a job. But that's exactly why she picked him, because he didn't have a job. He was totally dependent on her, and now she's in the house trying to tell him what to do. Because she feels like she's the head of the house. Why? She got a job and he don't. And since the Caucasian Democrats made who's the head of a house by who makes the most money, which that ain't true. All right? So this is her man. This is the boyfriend she chose.
Where you have to make your partner feel special. And in 5 years, I never felt special. So before you...
Okay, understand this. In 5 years, she's been with a jobless man who didn't have a job before he met her. All right, she wants to feel special now, but she was probably loving his thug thizzle for shizzle my nizzle. You know what I'm saying? All right, all the good dudes, they was too lame. You know, all the good working dudes who now don't want a made-up person with clown makeup on and all drawn with a drawn-on face. No, they would rather go to another country to get a regular woman. Not supermodel type, just regular. You know, pretty nice body, whatever, but regular. A woman that can jump in a pool of water and not worry about getting her hair wet. That kind of woman that'll go swimming, enjoy herself in the pool. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Those who see my Facebook video. All right. Now, the IUIC is not going to approve of my dating choices, but then again, they're full of lies anyway.
I comment that. Just understand the point of the video, Miss Girl. Okay.
And she thinks she did something, but what she did with her drawn-on eyebrows faded into the middle, what she did is made herself look like the fool, and all the good, decent dudes are looking at her like, no, you the fool. You picked a dude that didn't have a job, that never have a job, And now you want him to go get a job. Understand this. You want him to all of a sudden go get a job because you don't like the stress of that work. And now you think you done did something. This is what the church have done to these women over the years. And then you had these dudes deify these women. And now the women think they don't need no man. All right, and this is what the BAW, this is what the black woman has become. This is her image. And the dudes, especially on the so-called left, are so weak that now they're crying about a choice that they made in an election, but everybody told them. But they still, knowing this, would still vote for that dude over the other guy, because even though they had job, money, everything was running smoothly in the economy, gas prices were low, there was food on the shelves, there was peace around the world, nobody effed with the United States. So then we could concentrate on the issues of the United States. The other guy was getting people out of jail that under this this dude that's in there now, commonly referred to as Jim Crow Joe, has taken Afro people back to the Jim Crow era, cut HBCU funding. He's the one that made the crime bill that Trump fixed. All them Afro people, Trump got out of jail, and these kind of clowns made excuses. Well, he ain't doing that. Obama didn't do anything for Afro people. And they chose a dude that literally called them the N-word, called their children roaches. This is how brainwashed the church, dignified, left hand, I'm a Democrat, gonna die a Democrat. This is how they are. And they look for all their blessings to come from the sky. And these are the very people that will take and steal from another, but want people to help them. This is who they are. The super weak that will sell out the whole entire community. All right, this is what we're dealing with, people. These people would sell out the entire community. And for what? All right, so here's some other stuff that's going on. Let's look at what women voted for first.
It's pretty interesting. First two big initiatives following suffrage. Number one, alimony. Divorce and alimony laws. Women voted for alimony laws that applied only to women, and they voted for alimony to be in effect for life, meaning any man who legally married a woman was legally required to support her for the rest of her life, no matter what the circumstances of marital breakdown. So the second thing women voted for, prohibition. It's kind of almost a joke, isn't it? You give women some power, the first two things they do is take away a guy's money, and then they take his beer. It's also a historical fact. That is what women voted for. It's what women continue to vote for. Women believe themselves to be social arbiters of what constitutes good manners and civil society. Women believe themselves entitled to men's money. And they'll vote to continue to take it. They vote to fleece men, is sort of the rude way to put it. It's true, though. That is what they vote for. We are not.
All right, so you get it. They vote to take what the man has. All right, it gets worse. Again, why we should not marry and why we should raise a side eye at any of these clowns that try to con us into marrying. That means getting that license to a BAW or to anybody, but especially the BAW. Listen to this.
My ex-husband raised our 23-year-old son, whom I didn't birth, from age 5. I share custody of my 15-year-old daughter with the same father. My 12-year-old son sadly lost his father to suicide when he was just 7, and my 3-year-old is being raised at home with his father and me. I literally live my work every day. So, what has 20 years of representing men in family law while living my own reality show as a wife, mother, and daughter taught me about fatherhood? Allow me, if you will, to start with the second thing I learned about fatherhood. Men parent differently than women, big surprise. But their influence is crucial in the development of their children. Do you know any mom in the world who would put dog shit in an Easter egg? Okay, maybe that's a good thing. Let me better demonstrate this point from my legal experience. When getting my father clients ready for court, I prepare them for this kind of interrogation. Who's your children's doctor or dentist? What's the name of your school principal or even their teacher? What grades did they get on their last report card? 9 times out of 10, they miss the majority of these questions. Seriously, does this mean they don't care or love their children as much? I bet it makes you wonder. But please hold your judgment. Here are the questions that my father clients can easily answer. If your son could be a superhero, what would his power be? What kind of monsters do your kids fear? How high does your daughter feel comfortable flying in a swing? What makes your son feel defeated? Yet, in my experience cross-examining hundreds of mothers in family court, these are the harder questions for them.
Notice, I want y'all to understand this. And this is the nature of men. People always talk about mother's intuition. They do not have it. It's the man without needing intuition that has an innate understanding of children. And I'm going to tell y'all this, right? They have an innate understanding of children, and children know it. Understand this. Children know it.
Most of us know motherhood brings with it a sixth sense and an unspoken bond to our children. But what about fathers? Even fathers feel insecure about this reality. After representing 650 fathers, I can count on one hand those that felt secure in their instinctive role and significance to their children. What's interesting is my anecdotal legal experience suggests otherwise. In 20 years of practice, I've had over 100 men take a paternity test, like Jerry Springer. Seriously, do you know how many were wrong in predicting their biological relation to the child? 2.
That means men know when a child isn't theirs, which means a lot of the times they let things go because what do you do about the situation? Only women put dudes in such an effed up situation. And I'm saying we don't have to put up with it.
This shocked me and taught me my third lesson. Fathers, too, have a genetic bond and instinct about their children from infancy. Forget where you are for a moment, seriously, and close your eyes. I'd like to ask you to feel. Think about your childhood. Picture your father, his smiling eyes, his strong hands. Hear his deep voice. What did you love about your dad? Did he throw you high into the air? teach you to ride a bike, carry you home when you got hurt, push.
This is what the BAWs eliminated from the Afro community. This is what the BAW eliminated from the Afro community. If you want to know why so many children are so effed up, this is it. No fatherhood. Because the BAW was taught by the church to make fatherhood insignificant. Then other groups came up that thought, well, we'll make some money out of them by selling them, back to Africa trinkets and telling them that everything came from them, that they were the first being, that they are actually gods, that they don't need no man to have a child. Never mind that a child comes from a seed that the man makes in his loins. These dudes told females that they don't need the person that creates the seed, creates the literal seed in his loins. And these sellout creeps do it to make money, because you could tell these BAWs anything that is destructive to the community and they'll run with it, and everyone can make money off of them for it. All right, let's get deeper than this. Pay attention.
When you tried to give up, what did it feel like to have a daddy? Secure, fun, challenging. Now, go back in your memories and erase your father from every scene. This is what the other 40% of people's childhoods look like. Just under half the people listening to me, including my own 12-year-old son, felt sad, angry.
Now, 40% is the white version. For the so-called Afro children, it's 70% feels this way without the child, father. And you see the comments from the females, you heard them, that they only wanted the bag, or they didn't want a working man. They wanted child support from the working man, but they wanted some jobless thug to run and hit that all night because,
or blank during the peak of your joy while playing along.
All right, and let me say this. There's a reason why the BW can't be satisfied when it comes to intercourse. They can't be satisfied because so many have been inner and out of that course that everything is worn out. And outside of Mr. Ed, Mr. Tom, Dick, and Harry can't do much else for her. She's experienced anything, and especially from her thug dudes that came out of prison, she has experienced things from all sorts of ways. So she's been ruined to an actual good man. In a way that no other female has been. As a group. Now, with the Caucasians, you have some women that do some stuff in college, but they let that stuff go and get married to Biff and Tide. But no, remember, we ain't saying that the white women and the Hispanic women don't do it too. We're saying that the BW does it way more than both of them combined.
Eye-opening, isn't it? Nearly 2 of every 5 children in America are growing up without their fathers, or 17 million, according to the 2016 census. Other sources estimate as many as 30 million. In 2011, I joined the board for a local charity called Nevada Youth Empowerment Project, or NYEP. NYEP is a housing program for homeless girls ages 18 to 24. As board president of this small charity, I've been closely involved and gotten to know the girls and their tragic stories over the years. Hundreds of otherwise homeless girls have come through our program. Their backgrounds and what they have endured would haunt you. Do you know the one thing all of these girls have in common? They all come from fatherless homes. Sadly, These girls aren't the exception. They're the rule. My fourth lesson about fatherhood came from the data.
Understand. And that data is something else too. All right? Hold on for a second.
Undervalue their importance, making it harder for them to be in their children's lives. Explored by psychologists. What I can tell you, 90% of all homeless and runaway kids, 71% of high school dropouts,
All right, hold on.
their backgrounds and what they have endured would haunt you. Do you know the one thing all of these girls have in common? They all come from fatherless homes. Sadly, these girls aren't the exception. They're the rule. My fourth lesson about fatherhood came from the data.
Hold on, y'all. Wait a minute. So she's about to run down all this data. I hate this thing. When everybody I remember when we used to have the disc and didn't have all this problem. All right.
Have in common? They all come from 30. I've been closely involved and gotten to know the girls in the college program. Their backgrounds and what they have endured would haunt you. Do you know the one thing all of these girls have in common? They all come from fatherless homes. Sadly, these girls aren't the exception. They're the rule. My fourth lesson about fatherhood came from the data. According to the Center for Disease Control, children from fatherless homes account for 90% of all homeless and runaway kids, 71% of high school dropouts, and 63% of youth suicides. While you listen to me speak, you have to be wondering, what makes fathers so crucial? Honestly, the answer is complex and better explored by psychologists. What I can tell you is that the data unequivocally tells us fathers are vital, and yet laws and society undervalue their importance, making it harder for them to be in their children's lives. Even fathers underrate their own value. I know this data upsets a lot of mothers, me included. But advocating for fathers isn't about diminishing mothers. While children deserve both parents whenever possible, this crisis is specific to fathers. The occurrence of fatherlessness is epidemic. The effects are catastrophic, and the causes are male gender specific. Nearly 30 years ago, leading child psychologist Michael Lamb reminded us, fathers are the forgotten contributors to child development. Yet, researchers have found
All right, hold on for a second. This crap don't make no kind of sense.
researchers have found that children with involved fathers have stronger cognitive and motor skills, elevated physical and mental health, become better problem solvers, and are more confident, curious, and empathetic.
Children have empathy. Okay, children have empathy. In the meantime, Instead of looking at fathers, instead of trying to rebuild a community, no one wants that to happen because you can't make money off of it. So what did they do? They went the other way. Why? Because none of these groups care about children. And that's the bottom line of all of this. None of them care about our future and care about children. They don't care enough to check the BW. They don't care at all. I want y'all to understand this. So this is kind of what you have here. You have the deification and the worship of the black woman, with whom they call a queen without having a queendom or owning anything. Oh, she has a house, she don't own it. She's paying a mortgage on it, and the money that she got for the house is coming from the very dudes that wanted everybody destroyed in the Afro community. All right, let's not get it twisted. All right, let's really not get it twisted. It just is what it is. These are people that don't care about Afro people. All right? They don't care about Afro people. They don't care about the children. They don't care about the future of the community. They don't care. Now, this last thing is from my trip here. After I got my hair braided, right? Y'all remember this. All right, I don't know quite what this thing is doing, but in case it's doing something. All right. Doing the last thing I did. All right. I'm kind of back. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Them or Microsoft. How does this thing work? It's them or Microsoft. I don't know what's going on. But I know that this mess is crazy. It's just too crazy. All right. All right, so it's kind of too crazy. And when I try to show what's up with Palenque and stuff like that, but really the bottom line is this. So Let's see if we can get this played. This is the elder.
Certo.
Palenque is the territory free America broken the
Ah, no.
Palenque broken the chain of the slap in Colombia.
Ah.
Palenque is territory free. En Palenque the people speak Mantua, speak Spanish. En Palenque there is no police. The police, your grandmother, my grandmother, your grandfather, my grandfather is free. Palenque is no police. En Palenque the people speak Mantua and speak Spanish. Palenque the people practice the religion Catholic and practice and religion of Africa too. En Palenque the people believe and the medicine science I believe too and the medicine Africa traditional. En Palenque you can see the doctor and the medicine tradition. In Palenque, Palenque is Africa, Palenque is your home. When you are working for the Palenque, you are in my house.
Sí,
Yeah.
sí, sí. Yo sabía.
Sabía.
Yo hace un video en vivo no YouTube. Yo hablo yo estudiar sobre Palenque, primeiro eu viajo aqui. Eu choose a viagem a Colômbia porque Palenque. Para mim, me choose porque Palenque. Muitas pessoas nos Estados Unidos não sabiam sobre Palenque. Não mira meu vídeo.
But now, most people in the United States visit Palenque every day, every week, every month. North Carolina, Miami, Queens, Brooklyn, Washington D.C., Los Angeles. All the people in the United States visit Palenque. Palenque is home. For example, in this picture, all the people in this picture here in front of us, we're from the United States.
Yeah. And
from the United States.
Yeah. And so, but the difference is, para mí and my amigos, we can.
Spanish.
Yeah.
My dream is speaking English in the future. I practice you English with you.
You and me passing by Español, sí.
All right.
But mi amigos quiero ayuda para que no viaje, visitar, hace un conexión.
Okay.
Because Palenque y hermano y hermanos los Estados Unidos.
Okay.
Mi grupo, personas escucha mi canal, hebreo.
Okay.
Hebreo para religión. No practica, Christian practica mandamento.
Okay. You?
Sí, mandamento.
Okay.
Practica mandamento.
Okay.
So, para mandamento tiene más, doando más.
Okay.
Y hace para familia primero, tiene más compartilhar.
Man, what?
Compartilhar.
Okay, compartilhar. Okay.
So.
Are you buying coca?
Sí, certo.
I'm waiting for you to continue speaking. Palenque, bro.
All right, y'all.
So
I'm about to bust a move.
So, brothers, the bottom line is this. The bottom line is this. I don't know if you caught what this dude is saying, but I like to play it a lot. What's up, brother? I like to play what he says a lot. Okay? And basically, what he's telling y'all is they are free. I want y'all to understand and grasp what this man is saying. Man, I've been having some phlegm in my throat. But grasp what this man is saying. He is saying, this man is saying that they are free because they have no police. Somebody asked me, well, how do they deal with murders? How about there's no murders? All right, that's something to think about, right? It's something to think about living as a society where you don't need to be policed by your enemy. Oh, let's make no qualms about it. Let's make no qualms about it. We are policed by our enemies. We should not need the police. I want y'all to say, I want y'all to understand that. We should not need the police. And we got one major problem. The major problem trying to push us into getting a document and uniting with these women, giving them power and authority over us with that document called a marriage license. When I pointed out the one woman, when she said, since women started to vote, at no point ever did they vote for the interests of the community as a whole. See if that fixed things. All right. All right. So we're back. All right. What I pointed out for you today is this: that since women got the vote, she has voted to take away the man's money while trying not to work for that money, and at the same time preventing that man from enjoying the money he gets. We've been suckered into marrying this woman by getting a license. And then hold on for a second. All right. I don't know how this thing is not receiving enough juice, but I'll figure out what's going on later. All right. So the bottom line is, brethren, we can't win for losing. And our only option is, if you want a wife or a girlfriend and stuff, get her outside of the United States. All right? Don't do it within the United States. Get your woman from outside of the United States. That's your best bet. That's going to be the best thing for us. Because if you're looking for this bodily archetype, you know, you got some of these females some of these dudes that's just thirsting over these bodies, right? Let me make something clear. All right. let me make something clear. My stream is just going to experience issues because it's just what it is. All right. The thing that is clear is everybody wants us to worship a woman. And why do they want us to worship the BW? They want us to worship the BW because she worships the Caucasian man. Since she is so far gone from ever caring anything about the so-called Afro community, everything is a wash, especially when dealing with them. However, there is money to be made by everyone. There is money to be made by the church, the dating gurus, the religious groups, the Hotep people. Everybody makes money by going through her to siphon the money away from the men, which by all means you siphon the money away from the community when you do that, because it's the men who for real really care about their seed. You know how much the BW don't care about their seed? That there is 10 million cases. Understand this. There's over 10 million cases of fathers who's paying child support for a child that's not there, that the woman knew wasn't there. But because the child is just a check, well, who cares in her head? But for a man is proud to raise his seed. You can see by the dudes that's allowed to raise their children. I may not agree with some of the stuff that some of these guys teach their children, but you can see that they're proud to teach it to their children, and they have that right to do it. All right? And this is where we are, people. We are in a place where no one is going to listen to the men that are telling the truth. All right? No one's going to listen to the men that are telling the truth. If the women who really don't care about the truth, but look at the money-making potential, because here's the thing. The women that are now on YouTube talking about men's issues, one were the causes of those issues. You know, the proverbial cause the problem, then offer the solution. And why? Because they have conditioned and brainwashed the Afro male to follow them and them only. But nothing will ever get built because those males will never be leaders because those women lead them. And the men that would be leaders, they're not trying to have nothing to do with such a travesty in the community. Hey, what's up, John Storm? John Storm, you could bring a foreign bride home to America depending on where she comes from. Like Colombia and stuff. If you get it from Colombia, if you marry a woman in Colombia, they don't believe in divorce like that. Mexico, Mexican women, they'll be down with you too. They're not down for that divorce thing. Africa, depending on the country. Philippines, good luck with that one. Other East Asian countries, you might be well off. Japanese women, I think that's a good bet. Okay, okay, hold on. Oh, yeah. Eve, that made all her money off of the Afro community, got with a Caucasian man and then worked trying to get pregnant by this Caucasian man. Hold on. And was the stepmother to his 3 children, who did not want to call her mom because they had one. And all she wanted was to be called mom by them children. All right? This is why I say, brothers, let it be over. We don't have to deal with this mess. And as men, we should not. Y'all excuse me for a second. Okay, there it is. I've been having a problem with the bit rate, so I have to go into my thing and change it. All right. And so here's the thing. We've been disrespected by everyone. Remember the first clip I put up of the dude? He said, when Martin Luther King got up there, we stopped fighting for ourselves and thought that the Gandhi method was going to work. All right. And other people's method don't work for us. We had the Gullah Geechee Wars. That's the wars of the Afro Indians and the Caucasian Indians and the Red Indians coming together to fight the South for all the heinous things that they did. And we were winning. And the only reason we didn't outright win our freedom in war was because the Civil War started. And who's to think that that wasn't another reason for the Civil War to start? Because we were on the precipice of winning. Yeah, I did but Captain Marvel, I did a lot of stuff. And speaking on a Captain Marvel article, I wanted to get to this. All right, I really wanted to get to this. And the reason why I wanted to get to this article, because dudes are tired. Dudes are tired, especially those in the military. All right, now, I want y'all to pay attention to this. All right, I want y'all to pay attention to this story. All right. But as you pay attention to this story, I want y'all to notice something. I want you to notice the picture they paint of the woman. This is the story I was talking about getting to. All right, hold on for a second.
A Fort Bragg soldier is behind bars tonight, charged with killing a Georgia woman and their unborn child.
This is the suspect, Alonzo Dargan Jr. We've been following breaking developments all day, and tonight Dargan is in custody in Cumberland County. CBS 17's Lillian Donahue has more details about what happened.
Right now, Dargan is inside the Cumberland County Detention Center behind me, but he won't be here for long. He's awaiting extradition back out to Georgia. That's where authorities believe he shot and killed his pregnant girlfriend.
This is Akilah Ware. She was 33 weeks pregnant with her 6th child when police found her shot multiple times in her.
She was 33 with her 6th child. and no hubby. All right.
Crashed car in Troup County, Georgia.
You know, I went to the scene and could not believe that somebody had shot and killed a young mother of 5 children, and on top of that, killed her, and she had a baby inside of her that resulted in the death of that baby.
Fort Bragg soldier Alonzo Dargan Jr., who is married to someone else with children, is now charged for the murder of Ware and their unborn son. Fort Bragg authorities took him into custody and then turned him over to the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office on Thursday. Cumberland County records show no prior felonies or major run-ins with the police.
All right, pay attention to that. No prior felonies or major run-ins with the police.
Investigators in Georgia say they tracked Dargan down by his silver Nissan connected with the scene. They say he and Ware grew up together and went to school together.
It's been awful, and it was just overwhelming.
Ware's grieving mother described her as a beautiful person inside and out.
She was always, making you laugh at something silly. Whenever you pick up the phone, she's going to say something silly.
A Fort Bragg spokesperson tells me today that they can't comment on the active investigation being led by Georgia authorities. However, they are cooperating.
All right.
Reporting in Fayetteville, Lillian Donahue, CBS 17 News.
Lillian, thank you.
It's bow tie.
So let me say something with that. Let me say something about that. It's a tragic case, and as y'all see, this isn't the only tragic case. And because of the state of this country, and how it is treating men, I would be, this is not surprising. This is not a surprise for me. Now, we could look at everything that's going on with this. Again, it's like the woman complaining about a dude not working when she chose the dude when he wasn't working. And all he does is play video games. The old trope that we always use is they don't choose good men. They choose the men that aren't available, or they choose the men that aren't available, or they choose bad men, then complain about the bad men they choose. Being a soldier, or being that I was a soldier, they used to warn us about getting with these women, because a lot of them was, again, what did Brittany Renner say? Securing the bag. Athletes are their first choice, the military are their next. Why? Why do they choose the military? Because the military will just take your money from you and give it to the woman. Period. Right? The dude's looking at his life is over. I'm going to just keep it real. I'm thinking this dude is saying, you know what? My life is over. I bet you that's what this dude is saying. My life is over. It's done. I'm toast. This woman said she was using protection or whatever. Oh, there's a whole lot of ways this went south. As soldiers, we hear about stuff like this all the time. It is so bad in the military that soldiers are given a safety brief to not mess with these women. They're given a safety brief to look at, this is what's going to happen to you keep messing with these women. Don't mess with these women. If you're married, his life is over. I'm going to tell you this, as a soldier, his life was over. Stick a fork in him. He was done. And the reason he was done is this. He committed adultery, and in the military, that's a no-no. So his career was done. He probably got with this woman, and she was like, oh, I'm on birth control, you know, because they got all the birth control in the world. But they also can decide who and when they have a baby. Again, this is one of them things. And some of these women trick these dudes so much that they end up paying with it with their lives. And we try to tell and we try to warn our own. You know, stay true to yourself. One, don't mess with dudes that are married. Don't mess with thugs. Don't mess with drug dealers. We preach these messages. But even our own daughters don't listen. Our female relatives don't listen. You know why? Because they were trained by the same BAWs that trained us to be so weak-minded that we only follow what the woman says. And then they trained their daughters to not listen to what any man has to say. Why? Because he's a man. Period. It all goes back to this. Worship. The BW is supposed to be worshiped no matter what condition she is in. She gets to not give a damn about the man or the child. She gets to do hot girl summer, live her own life. She gets to do whatever she wants to a person and think that there's not supposed to be any kind of repercussion. All right? Right now, they're losing because good men don't want to be around them. But the other thing about that, about these women who joined with every major group that wanted to destroy the Afro family and male, from the LG to the Dems to the Karens in the Dems. They joined with every group that was destructive to us. And these people sat with a smile saying, what kind of suckers are these? And then they want to have buyer's remorse. They don't have buyer's remorse. People like me told them who these people were, but they didn't listen. Why? Because these women trained them not to listen. All right? And now, the whole damn community is going to have to pay the price. But the men who can escape, who is wise enough to just not deal with him, get on his own. These are the men that are going to have very little to worry about. They're going to try to stop travel. But again, you think enough Hispanic women came across the border that if you learn a little Spanish, you might be able to pick one up in the United States. But what we do know is this. Scripturally, New Testament and Old, it was never about monogamy. And monogamy was a method of slavery and control by way of the marriage license. Instead of the whip, they had the BW as the whip, and women in general as the whip. Remember, I told you that the marriage license was only created in the 1920s. 1920s to the 1930s, when every state adopted the marriage license. They created it to give white men the permission to marry black women, but then expanded it when they saw that they could make money off of this new thing. So all the states made it an ordinance to make money. And if the marriage, the women pushing for marriage, push $1 billion. These are the same women that will push for weave. $1 billion a year industries. And now men are having enough sense to walk away. Let the suckers be suckers. Let everybody else walk away. This is not what the Most High had for us. This is not what and who we are supposed to be. We're not supposed to be bound to nobody by contract from the state or the government. All right? We're just not. It's all about children, or that's what it should be about. All right? But here's the thing. Here's a better question by Robert Mustafa. Because I seen this Korean woman do this, right? This Korean woman, when she can't do and please her husband, she has some friends that she bring by to satisfy him. All right? And especially in the military. Especially in the military. A wife to a military husband is kind of a prestige thing, unless you're both military, and those marriages usually never work. Matter of fact, from my own to everybody I know, I don't know anybody military to military that stayed married past 5 years. All right. I will also say this. The women that starve the men the most from what they need are the military wives. But we're talking about black people. All right? Because what you don't know, because they usually don't get caught, a lot of the military wives get it on with Pookie and Ray Ray while you're in the field. Oh, and don't get deployed. While you're deployed, you might come back. If you're a Caucasian man, if you're married to a Caucasian, let me say that, you might come back with extra big bills that you have to whittle down. But the Afro men had a habit of coming back, those married to a black woman, and this is to include white men, they would come back to nothing. Pookie had the car, been driving the car. You had the house note that wasn't paid, the car notes that weren't paid, and the military forces you to give this woman money. All right? It's called a family care packet. So before you deploy, you decide, well, your will and everything, and then you decide how much money. They tell you, basically, they just make you give the wife money, and it's up to her whether she paid things or not. And a lot of dudes, especially in Fort Hood, y'all want to know why Fort Hood is so crazy? A lot of dudes, I was stationed there for a bit. A lot of dudes was coming back. We was hearing about this like a bunch of times a day. A lot of dudes was coming back to nothing. A lot of dudes married to the BAW was coming back to nothing. And I'm saying that I don't know what the actual number is, but we do know that. All right. They were coming back to nothing. And we knew about it too. All right. Hey, what's up, Tone 202? Oh, go check his channel out too. Oh, you talking about keeping it real? Oh, he got some stories for your behind. So go check out Tone 202. Because he was saying some things. He was in the military too. And he was telling some stories. I was like, Nick, what? You know, I was like, what? I was flabbergasted, to say the least. I couldn't believe. All right. And so, and I don't know, what are some of the other, if all right, to any of the other military people out here, right? Hold on, let me make sure I have this set up. I think my girl might have taken one of the chargers, charging cords. I got one. Woo! Let's do the engagement stretch. Is this enough? Nope. Alright, hold on for a second. Hope this is long enough. Alright, so if anybody got a military story to tell, alright, and you have the and you have my Facebook or WhatsApp, alright, you can call in on Facebook and WhatsApp. Alright, so now when I say we should get women elsewhere, alright, so y'all saw the women from Palenque. Alright. Me, I pick who likes me first. That's it in a nutshell. Alright. I'll be like, okay, I like this woman. I really, really like this woman. But if she don't like me back, oh well. I'm good. Alright, hold on for a second. Dang. Hold on. Call back Texas Marine. I did the wrong phone. Dang, I'm tripping. Okay. Hey, what did he call me on? Wait a minute. Did he call me on WhatsApp? No. All right, call me on the Messenger. Messenger. All right, hold on for a second. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to call him back. Booyah, we got it now. All right, you there? Hold on for a second. Okay, there we go. Let's see what's up now. Hello?
All right, there we go.
All right, there we go. Okay, we cooking with fire now. All right, so go ahead, Texas Marine.
All right, it's a two-part thing. Now, when I first got in, that was business store.
Okay.
At Camp Pendleton, where we were stationed was towards the north end of the base where the airway was. But the base housing was down the south end towards the beach.
Okay.
Now, a lot of guys had already gotten left initially before they even announced the desert seal. A lot of guys had already been sent out.
Okay.
So we was waiting for our shipment, so we went over the base. The staff is still powerful. We got put on games by Cobra. He said if you see the light on and the box with the head up under the light, that means he go come back on the door. She's ready for it.
Oh wow.
Because when we left, I'm the other guy. I ain't got no woman like that. We come back. My NCYC, Master Sergeant, we call him Shop Talker. He was the Master Sergeant of the Quality Insurance Division.
Okay.
He came back to a wife that was 6 months pregnant. We've been on the team.
Woo!
Yeah. We've been on the team. Then when I went to Somalia for Black Hawk Down, two of the guys was in my shop. One guy, he picked up E5 when he was there. He came back to a newborn. We've been gone over a year.
Bruh, look, I'm telling y'all, this is how it is.
He came on to the group now. Here's the kicker. He knew the child was needed. These are 2 million white people. He came back to a very melanated baby.
Wow. All right, and so here's the other.
He was first because the child was born up in marriage.
Wow.
Like, if I say what I'm dead, if I leave I'm dead, it doesn't matter. She don't get me the greatest child born in the marriage.
Yep.
And he's been gone so long, he was looked at him like, with this child been there for long. He's like, I ain't been here. Don't matter. Military.
Exactly. And that's why women, this is why women target the military. This is why women target the military.
My own story, I got got myself. First thing that my woman was really the end of that little reason I trust her. I find out 29 years later, child ain't right.
Wow.
Then I can do. She was getting me for 15 minutes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They made sure that I said every time I had for being married, I had to get sent to her because she won't come to where I was. Even though we had a legal separation. Didn't matter.
Nothing.
She was on welfare. And she was on welfare too. And I had an $80,000 debt when I got to the Marine Corps.
Yep. And turned out the child wasn't even his.
Yep. She still went, oh, I got an update for you. I saw my mother-in-law the other day, or yesterday. My mother-in-law. And she asked me, why you tell this child she ain't yours? And I laughed and I said, because the DNA test says she ain't mine.
Well, there it is.
And then when I pulled up the ancestry page, because the grandmother, my next mother-in-law, and my legal daughter's brother did an ancestry test. They popped up as close family. Her brother popped up as half ancestry. Got it right. They said half brother. And her grandmother popped up as grandmother. And I said, if you know the way on this, she said, what? I said, I ain't saying my uncle like that. I said, that's what I'm saying. I said, I'm not dishonest. I'm telling you the fact. She's not my biological child. And your daughter need to ask the question, who else was she speaking with? Because we know I didn't make her. She got quiet then.
Yep. Y'all understand, brothers? All right, but the brothers end up trapped. I'm going to say this. The brothers end up trapped by these women in this system. All right? And they tell you they're going to trap a dude. They tell you they are going to trap the dude. They tell you that they are out to trap a dude.
And if you look at that, but they know they are the guys are going to be forced to pay.
Permanently.
Mm-hmm.
See, and people don't understand. They don't understand why a lot of military men go crazy. The military men get screwed over in so many ways to defend the country because everybody uses him.
You forgot about Fort Bragg when them dudes were coming back at that other airport unit. They did before a lot. Them guys came back. One dude came back when I was on the edge of the state. He drove the car halfway through the house trying to kill her.
Right.
He found out he was coming back to her baby, and she had the dude living in the house with her on FaceTime while he was doing it.
Had the dude living in the house.
She had him on base in the housing. He tried to kill them both.
And this is why. Right. But here's the thing. And this is what I keep saying. There is no love for a man trying to do the good thing. There is no love for the man who's trying to do the good thing. The man that is trying to be right. All right? The man that's trying to keep his stuff together. There's no love. All right? I thought about this. Okay, so I'm here in Colombia, and brothers, this is what I was deeply thinking about. All right? I was thinking while I'm here in Palenque, somebody said, what about murders and stuff? They have no police here in Colombia. It's an all-black town, the first freed slaves in the history of chattel slavery. A town that if you got there, you was free. It's in Colombia. All right. And they maintain some Catholic cultures and a lot of other stuff, right? All right. And so I start thinking to myself, really, I started thinking to myself, could we, now me, I know this for sure. Okay? I know this for sure. If anybody else want to call in, let me know, and then I'll get Texas Marine off, and then I'll let somebody else hit up. Hey, Texas Marine, check and see if anybody else want to call in. If you want to call in, just let me know. All right, if you want to call in, let me know. All right, if you want to call in, let me know, and we'll make space. All right, we'll make space, and then you could call in. All right, so let me know. So one of the other things is this. All right, one of the other things is this, and this is something that you brothers have to keep in mind. I am extremely to the end. I wonder if Tone 202 is still watching this, because he would know about this. All right. And he might crack up at it if he's watching. All right. So let me see. If Tone 202, if you're watching, say something real quick. If you're still on here, because I'm gonna bring up a name. All right. I'm gonna bring up a name if Tone 202 is watching. And this is something he would know about. The name I'm going to bring up is Charlisa. That's the name, Charlisa. That's the name I'm going to bring up. All right. And so if he's available, and if anybody else got a story to tell and want to call in, now is kind of the time to do it. All right. All right. So the line is clear. So if anybody else want to call in, the line is clear. All right, and I wanted to show y'all something. All right, I want to show y'all something. And there's a point to this. All right. Some of the times, we allow ourselves to not be happy because we don't really think we put an image in our head. We put an image in our head of what we're supposed to like, what we supposed to like, what's supposed to make us happy. All right. So we put this image in our head. All right. And we put this image up in our head as to what we think will make us happy. Because we've been told for all our lives that we're only supposed to have a certain type of whatever. And if it's not the type that the BW demand us have, then we ain't supposed to have it. All right. Bottom line. And I thought it was such a sad thing for us that People think that it's okay for them to take away options from us because, you know, we are not worthy of options. We are still slaves. And understand this. Understand this. The reason why you have no options, the reason why you have no options is that you are still considered a slave. Period. A slave, a servant. You're not supposed to be with anybody that will make you happy. Understand this. They don't want you with anybody that'll make you happy. They don't want you to have any kind of fun. Remember the first two things that the women voted for. They voted to take away the man's hard-earned money for the rest of the women's life. So if he married a woman, and it's kind of the same thing almost now. That if you marry a woman now, your life is kind of going to be over. Why is it going to be over? Because that woman is going to get to take your income for herself and you get nothing the rest of your life to show for it. The children, nope. And that's the thing. We get nothing to show for our lives. We get the hell that comes with it, but we get no benefits to show for our lives. If we become a man of any means, I want y'all to understand this too. If we become a man of any means, these women reserve the right to rob us of those means. They reserve the rights to rob us of those means. Don't get it twisted. Don't you dare get it twisted. This is what it is. It is what it is. That they don't want us to have any rights. They don't want us to have anything. All right, let's see. Hold on for a second. All right, let's see if anybody else have a story from the military. The people with the military might. All right. So one of the things that I wanted to point out is you may be surprised All right, you may be surprised when you travel at how popular you really are. All right, you're going to be surprised about how popular you really are. Hold on. Okay, so let me explain what I mean by this. In my travels, I talked to the person that picked me. I'm just going to keep it real. I talk to the person that picks me. And let me put emphasis on it. Whoever picks me first, that's who I talk to. All right. So, I am often surprised at the sort of women that find me attractive. And I'm saying really attractive. I'm saying to a surprising level attractive. All right. And I mention this because of this. I'm showing you pics. Some of you was on my live. All right. When we were at the pool. Some of you were on my live when we were at the pool. All right. And so one of the things we have to overcome if we're really going to find some level of happiness, one of the main things we have to overcome is the idea of beauty that did not come from us. Okay? The idea of beauty that did not come from us. And so what I mean by that is we went to an idea that was basically about stress. And so I found somebody that was less stressful. Now, don't get it twisted. There are games you got to navigate through. There are games you have to navigate through. You will never meet a woman where you don't have to play some kind of game. Because that's just who they are. All right, so that's just who they are. The thing is that even when brothers travel, the BW don't have a chance for another reason. And that reason is this. These women will come up and ask you for your number. Hey, what's up, Roderick? And then they will get with you way quicker while the BW is still playing games. This is why they lose. These women be like, oh, I like this man. And I'm going to tell you something else that I wondered. All right. The other thing that I wondered is, I walked off with the feeling that like she's not really with Afro men. That's the feeling I walked off with. I walked off with that feeling, like, because this was somebody that was like really happy. So she was really happy. She was a joy. All right. So she was a joy. All right. Now, let me say this. Because we're going to meet up again when I come back. But we have another issue. We have another issue, right? And this is where the Fig Newton comes in. The big Fig Newton. And this, one of the points I'm making, this is one of the points that I'm making. One of the points that I'm making is this. We don't need the woman with all the junk coming out her trunk. Having somebody that smiles and enjoys your company should go a long way. Having somebody that's actually having fun being with you should go a long way. All right? Having somebody that looks decent should go a long way. And when I say look decent, I don't mean in a way that it's an embarrassment. All right, so it's going to be time to wind this down. Because it's my Microsoft stuff that's really effing stuff up. All right. So my Microsoft stuff was really making stuff really, really bad. So I'm going to have to finish this final point that I was trying to make. And the final point that I was trying to make is this. We brothers are not in the habit of looking at what's best for us. we tend to let the image of what everyone think is nice to drive us to we want everybody else's image of what they think we should like be the driving force behind what we like. All right. We've been screwed over by everyone else's opinion. We've been screwed over into letting people think that their image of beauty should be what matters over our image of what we think beauty should be. They want us to look at superficial things. All right. They want us to look at superficial things versus real things. They want us to ignore things that don't really fit what somebody else wants it to fit. All right. People want only what they like, only what they get to tell you to like. All right. And I want y'all to understand this. They want you to not have a choice unless they choose for you. There is a reason. All right, there's a reason why there's a lot of hoopla about the type of women we choose. And let's put it this way. Let's make this clear. A lot of the times we're not choosing the women, they're choosing us. I mean, we're choosing them. All right, don't get it twisted. We're choosing them. But a lot of times, like when I went here, the woman asked me for my number. That's how that went. You know what my answer was? Here it is. You know why my answer was here it is? My answer was here it is is because I was not beholden to no one. All right, so I want you to understand that. I was not beholden to no one. See, they mad when you do stuff that they don't approve of with those that they don't approve of, right? But when you're not beholden to anyone, who gives a F? Remember, when you choose somebody that's not the BAW, they make fun of you. You know, that's why you this, that, and the other. That's why you can't get a black woman. Right? And they don't understand why this is a hit on them. They're the ones running around. And they ain't no good mans. Right? There is no good man. For however long, all other women are able to go and hook up with a good Afro man. All right? I want y'all to understand this. All other women are able to go, and I mean everywhere. In every aspect of how the BW want to deal with you, right? They will play games with you. And then get mad when they miss out because somebody who wasn't playing games with you decided, oh, I really like this person. Okay? And the person is like, well, I don't got all this that's going on. You see what I mean? So the BW want to bring to you snakes, witchcraft, and other untimely and unseemly things. They want to align with everyone that is trying to destroy you as an Afro male. They see you and your seed as nothing more than a check. And when they get with the one that don't have a job and ain't doing nothing, it's for plausible deniability. Much of the Afro community is brainwashed to never do anything that's in the best interest of the community, while seeking to please the BW because she got a big butt. This is why I say, brothers, beware of those trying to shame you into marriage with a BW who has nothing but a EVL agenda, and that is your destruction. If she can't dominate and rule over you by using the Caucasian man system, because remember when I was talking about Palenque, there is no police system there. All right. And the bottom line is, we have to save ourselves from them. If you can just ask yourself, what is really attractive to you? I mean, really. Ask yourself, why is something with an exaggeratedly big booty that needs surgery attractive to you? It never used to be. Why is it that that's what you want to be with no matter what they do to you? This is why I would say most men that are in these relationships with the BAW that don't know how to leave them alone the first sign of trouble, they're just in for what they get because they're brainwashed and they're not mature enough to want good. They don't think about what is this woman going to do to a child, the future. All right. They sold us out to everybody in every group, to the LGBTQRS WXYZ, to the Democrats who were the most racist against the Afro people. Let me tell you how bad they sold us out. If they were for socialism, Stacey Abrams and them would have campaigned for Bernie Sanders. I mean, after all, he believed in it so much that he was thrown in the back of a paddy wagon for a sit-in on the basis that they weren't giving Afro people housing. Him and a group of other Caucasian men. No, this is just like everything else. Lies, lies, and more lies. As they sell us out. And I'm sure, take a good look at these BWs. You see this man that called their children roaches, that said he don't want their children in his school? Because the children in BW's black children coming to his school is going to diminish the school. It's going to make the school a jungle. But that's who they're giddy with. I want y'all to understand this. We owe them nothing. We owe them nothing. Everybody that has meant harm to us as Afro men and our children, these women stood with to help them destroy us. We owe them nothing. Only thing we owe them is to be left alone. All right? So, with that said, brethren, it's time for us to save ourselves. All right? The BAW made the Afro man enemy number one. She has treated us like that we were her enemy. She has shown us nothing but hatred. And then blocked us when we were calling out the facts because we got tired of being lied on. All right? And so they want to delete us from YouTube, Twitter. They don't want to hear what we have to say. We need to delete them from our lives for the safety of any seed we might create. See, here in Colombia, they don't do that abortion crap. Yeah, you'll have a chance to raise your seed. How is that? All right. So, with that said, everybody, I'm out. I'll holler at y'all on the next one. Peace, love, and soul. Sorry about all this stuff, but they shadow ban me. They don't want y'all to hear what I have to tell y'all because for some reason I'm more of a threat than some of the other dudes, and maybe that's true because I can't be bought. All right. I don't know. I'm not trying to be popular. I'm just trying to help the brothers that have an ear. Because the brothers I'm talking to are the ones that's on the narrow road, not following everybody else to the gates of hell, as they say. All right, so with that said, I'm out. And don't forget, all the links to the data that I've been collecting will be in the description box. My PayPal, me, and Cash App will also be in the description box. All right? Peace, love, and soul. I'll be back to the United States soon, and hopefully we'll have a better showing. All right, peace.